The volume of world merchandise trade is projected to rise 8% in 2021 from last year, following a decline of 5.3% in 2020 amid the coronavirus pandemic, the World Trade Organization has said. And they added that prospects for a quick recovery in world trade have improved as trade recovered more quickly than expected in the second half of last year. Mariama Cham takes us through.
Last year's decline of trade growth was far less gloomier than previously foreseen. World Trade Organization says the improvement towards the end of 2020 was partly driven by the announcement of new vaccines at the end of November, boosting confidence. Despite current challenges, notably around vaccine trade, the multilateral trading system kept trade flowing and prevented worst possible outcomes. Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, World Trade Organization Director General, projects 8% rise in trade merchandise, adding that increasing vaccines and its availability can also regain back the world economy.
Following a sharp decline in the first half of the year, trade recovered more quickly than expected in the second half of 2020. This rebound has continued, and the WTO's baseline trade forecast foresees an 8% increase in the volume of world merchandise trade for 2021. The rapid development of effective vaccines has given the world a realistic chance of stopping this disease in its tracks and jump-starting the world economy at the same time. But this opportunity could be squandered if large numbers of countries and people do not have equal access to vaccines.
The Geneva-based international body also forecast the growth of global trade volume to slow to 4% in 2022, falling below the pre-pandemic trend. However, Robert Koopman, World Trade Organization chief economist, believes that trade has improved greatly, adding that trade provides a potential recovery of world's economies.
I think it's fairly safe to say that trade has done relatively well. There's been significant concerns about export restrictions and policy measures being put in the path of trade and slowing its growth, but overall it's been relatively robust. And I think that says something about the underlying the foundation of the WTO and the agreements, in that members feel restraint in invoking measures that might impede trade. Now, should they feel more restraint? Maybe. That's up to them. But overall, it appears that trade has been providing a strong underpinning so far for a potential recovery.
COVID-19 continues to pose the greatest threat to the outlook for trade. New waves of infection could easily further undermine any hope for recovery. But WTO boss says keeping international markets open will be essential to both health and economic recovery. Reporting for iAfrica News, I am Mariama Cham.